Hello, race fans. This is Chad from your very own Pit Lane Radio. Well, welcome to my very first video blog, I should say, for our show and on our site. But basically, what I want to do here today is explain to, as I said I was going to do on the show, which we ran out of time, the new chase format this year in NASCAR. We have the field set after last night's Richmond. First off, congratulations to Brad Keselowski for that win, which makes him 4 wins of the year. Pretty strong year for Brad, so he's looking pretty good in the chase. I'm first going to explain the chase, how it's broken down, and then I'm going to kind of give my opinion on it and give you a scenario that will probably alarm you, and you'll probably be on my side when this is all said and done. So let's jump right into it. Hopefully we'll explain this. I'll go kind of slow and easy, so just bear with me here on this. But we do, like I said, we have our field set after last night. We have 16 drivers that are in the chase. How that was set is the first 13 are a driver that won at least one race. The bottom 3 are the ones that were in with the top 3 in points that did not win a race. The drivers that we currently have now in the chase are Brad Keselowski, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Casey Keene, Eric Almirola, A.J. Allmendinger, Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, and Ryan Newman, with Kenseth, Biffle, Newman having not won a race that we'll put in due to the points. Now, again, just like the old format, at the start of the chase, every driver resets down to 2,000 points, and they get the 3 bonus points for each race they won. That's how Brad is on top with 2012. And Gordon Jr., Johnson, and Logano each have 3 wins. They get 2009. Harvick with 2 wins, and Edwards 2 wins. They get 2006. And then 2006 for both, and then Busch, Hamlin, both Busch brothers, Hamlin, Kane, Almirola, and Allmendinger had a win, so they start out at 2003. So that chase starts next week, obviously we know, at Chicagoland, which is pretty much every year. There's 4 stages in this year's chase with the 16 drivers. The first stage is called the Challenger stage, which is what we're in now. The second stage is the Contender stage. The third stage is the Eliminator stage, and then finally the 4th stage is the Championship stage, which takes place in the one race at Miami at the season finale. The Challenger stages, those races that are in that are Chicagoland, which we're going to this week, Loudon, and Dover. Those 3 races. Now, how those 16 drivers eligible for the chase? The bottom 4 drivers after those 3 races are out of the chase, which brings us count to 8. And those 8 will bring us down to 12. And those 12 drivers will start the contender phase of the chase. And the contender phase, those races that are in that one are Kansas, Charlotte, and Talladega. Those are the 3 races that will be in the contender stage. Again, also, those 4 bottom drivers are eliminated, which brings us down to 8, and that will start the eliminator phase, which is the 3rd phase of the chase. The eliminator phase has Martinsville, Texas, and Phoenix in those. And then same again, like I've been saying, the bottom 4, and that after those 3 races are eliminated, which will leave us with 4 drivers going into the championship phase, which is the last race of the year, and that's at Homestead, Miami. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So basically, what you want to do first of all is win a race, because you're pretty much guaranteed to go into the next phase of the chase. But here's what gets interesting when you're talking this championship phase. No matter what happens, you've even won yet at this point, because the final 4 drivers are in that championship phase. The driver on top of those 4, no matter if he finishes 30th, he is your champion. He does not have to win the race. He just has to finish higher than the other 3 drivers. Now, this is where it gets really disturbing is, let's look at this scenario. We've got Brad Keselowski, who has 4 wins, which hypothetically could have another 2, 3, maybe even 4 more wins going into the chase to how good this team is right now. Let's just say he has 4 wins, and that's what it is at the end of the year. Now let's take another driver who has no wins that's in the chase. Let's just use Ryan Newman for an example. They both make it through all 3 phases, and they're both in the championship phase. Let's just say, this is how bad this really gets. Let's just say those 4 drivers have a really bad day and get caught up in a big wreck there for some reason, or just have mechanical issues, and you've got Ryan Newman, who has never won a race, finishing 40th. Brad K finishing 41st, and let's say Logano and Harvick finishing 43rd or 44th. The winner of the championship will be Ryan Newman. He will be your NASCAR champion of 2014 without 1 win. Just because finished higher in one race, and that's the last race. Now, we know NASCAR said we want wins to count, but obviously not, because it doesn't matter. They throw wins out. Doesn't matter anymore. Consistency doesn't matter anymore. It just matters to me who wins that last race. So I'm going to dub the winner this year as the 2014 NASCAR Homestead Miami race champion. Because hypothetically, you can have a driver that does not even win a race all year, but it will, just because he finished higher than the guy that's won 4 or 5 races in a year, he's your champion. To me, that's just not right. It's not fair to the champion, to the guy who's won that many races, had a better season all year long, been more consistent, obviously has more wins, but doesn't get the championship because he doesn't win the one race of the year. To me, I think this is a gimmick. It's pretty sad, really pathetic. I think it's their NASCAR's way of trying to fix the problem last year at Richmond. We all know about that, and I'm going to explain that a little bit with the Richmond spin when Boyer spun out in Richmond intentionally, to get Martin Truex in the chase. Well, what NASCAR should have done, of course, we know they stopped the thing. It took a couple weeks while they added Jeff Gordon to chase to make it 13 drivers. I think the reason why they changed it this year, they can think, well, the number of drivers in the chase doesn't really matter. That's immaterial. We could have 16, 20, whatever, 25 if we wanted. But so I think that's what they tried to do, cover their butts, so to speak, on that, which was wrong. What they should have done at Richmond when they have what they should have done after the spin happened, they knew it was intentional. What they should have went back to the timing and scoring, and prior to that spin, they should have froze the field. Whether you were in the lead, second place, 10th place, 30th place, 22nd place, whatever in that race, that's your points, and you'll take them points for that race, and those should have went towards your championship points. And then obviously again, the top 10 in points with the 2 wild cards, there would have been your chase. You wouldn't have added, nothing against Gordon, but you wouldn't have added him. It wouldn't have been a controversial thing. You would just throw the field. Some say, well, they should have kicked Boyer out, put Logano in. I wouldn't have had a problem with that since it was intentional, but they didn't do that. Even if they just got the point, Boyer sort of made it by points. That's all they would have done, is froze that field before the spin. There's your chase set. But no, they didn't do it. They went this other crazy route that we won't go into. But before we go, with the old format that we had last year, if you're curious on that, I was kind of curious myself, how that would be pulling out right now is the old format. You would have Jeff Gordon, obviously, would be in there, Dale Jr., Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, and your 2 wild cards with a win would be Casey Kane and Kyle Busch. There would be no Allmendinger, there would be no Amarola due to the fact that they have not, and not even a Kurt Busch due to the fact they have not won a race. Or they won a race, they didn't have enough points to make the chase in the old format. So basically, again, that is your chase format. I hope I explained it well enough. It is kind of confusing, but once you read on a little bit more, you can understand it more. But I think after what I explained to you now, you're probably going to be in agreement with me that this is ridiculous. Like I said, you can have a champion that doesn't win a race all year long. I mean, how can he be a champion when he has not won a race all year long? But just because he placed higher than a guy in one race out of the year, he's your champion. It doesn't make any sense. I think NASCAR probably should just eliminate the chase, go back to the old point standings, and be done with it. I think it's so much easier on everybody without all the changes going on, so everybody can easily understand the season. But that's all I got for you. I don't want to go much longer than that, but hope you enjoyed this first time video segment on the Pit Lane. I want to explain to you the format. Look forward again. Remember, we're live Monday nights, 8 p.m. on 405media.com. Me and Joel will be there again tomorrow night to take your calls, go over the reviews, and preview the chase. Make our picks again, as we like to do. So please keep listening. And if you got any questions or comments, post them. Love to try to explain to it, or love to hear from you anyway. So until then, please enjoy your racing season. Have a great day.